How's everyone going? Out? You're right, Cody there, back again. As per usual, I do videos on things I've got experience of, prison reform, prison issues, life in prison, preparing for prison. Today's one, I've just dropped a video on YOs, young offenders, in prison and stuff. And on the back of it, one of the lads has asked me to do a video on cell searches. And it's a fucking good idea, to be honest, right? I didn't really think about cell searches. Thought about like cell fires and preparing for prison and regime and routine and IEP status, enhanced incentives and privileges and all that stuff. Right, so I've been asked to do this video, so obviously I'm gonna do it. Right, cell searches. Right, what are they? Obviously, it speaks for itself, but who would be targeted on a cell search? Um, how often did it happen? Why would you be? It's called spun. The actual term from it amongst prisoners, if your pad gets turned over by security or the screws, it's called being spun. Having your pad spun. Right. There's a lot of lads in prison because of the prison officer shortages and stuff. Right. Within prisons and stuff. What happens? Right. You get a lot of lads that are smoking weed on the landing openly. They're fucking blazing. They're doing bits on the wing. By doing bits, I mean they're selling a bit of this and a bit of that spice and all that sort of stuff, right? They're taking drugs. They're selling fucking gabbies, subbies, fucking like coke, fucking spice. Or obviously, the drug of choice in prison is spice and weed as well. They're the two main drugs, but like I said, if you any drug within prison, it's got a fucking value, right? Because of the prison officers shortages and stuff, people are doing it brazenly. Yeah, they're getting about the wing in front of the cameras, smoking, blazing, fucking, and they're doing bits and stuff like that. It's obvious, right? So who gets spun, right? So if you're doing what you're if you do what you're doing, if you're selling a bit of this and a bit of that, right, and you're doing it on the quiet, on the down low, right, chances are you're not going to get spun, right? If you're getting about and you're making it obvious what you're up to and stuff, and like you've got bare people going in and out your pad, and you fucking like you're getting about, and the screws pick up on it, right? Eventually, the screws pick up on it, right? Plus, you have grasses on the wing as well. Grasses are a real threat. Like if you right, say you're dealing a bit of this or a bit of that, or you go in and take drugs from someone, right? Like you've jacked someone, yeah, for the drugs, right? And then you keep doing it. So you've jacked a couple of people, yeah, got like a load of drugs, yeah, and you're bagging it out and banging it out, yeah, on the wing, yeah. All it takes is one of them lads to drop an ear to the screw and say, yeah, he's fucking selling over there, right? Some screws don't give a shit about drugs, honestly. They don't give a fuck. Some of the screws' attitude is we don't get paid enough to do that, to get involved with drugs and stuff like that. Some screws just go to work, want to get the day done, and they want to go home to the missus and the fucking kids. That's just how it is, right? Then you've got other screws, yeah. Some of the other screws, yeah. Like on my last stretch, yeah, the red badge. The red badge, for those that don't know, is a senior officer, right? Just means he's in charge when he's on shift, sort of thing. Then he's got the unit manager above him, and so on and so forth. And the red badge was proactive, man. Fuck me, this guy was proactive, right? Right, he was sending the cleaners. Yeah, I was a cleaner on induction wing. Yeah, for those that don't know, induction wing's the first wing you land on when you hit prison, unless you're a nonce. And even nonces, if the nonce wing's full, the nonces end up on our wing behind the doors as DNUs, do not unlocks, right? So fucking yeah, this guy, this red badge and stuff, he had us fucking not strip searching us, strip searching other lads on the wing, but he was drug testing people he suspected of taking drugs. He would fucking if it right, cause like if you walk down a landing, right, I'll give you a scenario. He walks down the landing, right, you can smell the fucking spice, yeah, or fish as it's known. It smells like fish. That's what it's known as in prison, fish or spiz, or it's spice, obviously, but that's how it's known, fish, right? If you can, and you can smell it, yeah, blatant. Like weed's stronger than it, but you can smell fish as well. So what they'll do, they'll get a sniff of where it's coming from, yeah, and they'll go in. The kids that live in that pad, right? What they'll do, they'll wait till everyone's locked up, right? They won't make it obvious. They'll just wait till bang up. Everyone's banged up, yeah. The cleaners were still out, yeah. So then what they'll do, they'll just go into a pad. They'll have it's like a one. There's a picture of it at the beginning, big black thing, super scanner, right? They use that. That's just to detect metal. So they're looking for mobile phones and shanks, right? But what they'll do, they'll walk into your cell. Say you're in a double, right? They'll ask one of you to wait outside. So you or your pad mate would be asked to leave the cell. The other one stays in there. He's asked to strip down, start bollock naked, right? It's embarrassing. For those that don't know that have never been to prison, these are who the videos are aimed at, right? So they walk into you, right? So your pad mate's been asked to leave the pad. He's walked outside his pad, yeah. The screws have got to keep an eye on him, yeah. Make sure he don't like get rid of anything or discard anything, bin it or everything else, right? So you start bollock naked, you strip down, you start bollock naked, right? Then you have to squat down, right, with your ass cheeks, yeah. You part your cheeks and you squat down. It's embarrassing, yeah. Everything's on show, right? A lot of lads plug their shit, right, their drugs up the prison pocket. For those that don't know, prison pocket, as mad as it might sound, it's your arsehole. It's your ass, right? Simple as that. No way of dressing that up. It is what it is. So yeah, so if you've got, so they normally have a bit of plastic bag or something hanging out of their ass, right? If the screws see it, yeah, they're gloved up. They've got like latex gloves on. They're gonna grab it. Trust me, they're gonna grab it, right? On top of that, they turn your pad upside down. They rip everything. They'll search. If you've got posters on the wall, they'll rip them down. Because obviously you could have something stuck to the back of the fucking poster. It happens. Convicts are clever, right? Trust me, we're very clever lads, yeah. We're very resourceful, and we're always one step ahead of the screws, yeah. But yeah, so you start bollock naked, you get strip search, right? Then you put your clothes on, you leave the cell, right? Your pad mate comes in, you walk in, you drop your clothes, you empty your pockets, you start bollock naked, you bend down, you squat, you lift your balls up, you spread your cheeks, you bend down, right? If there's anything showing in your ass, any sign of anything hanging out of your ass, mate, it's getting grabbed. It's as simple as that. Like I say, they're gloved up, and they're gloved up for a reason. And they do find fucking, trust me, I've seen screws come out of fucking pads with parcels, yeah, that have been secreted up the fucking prison pocket up their ass, yeah. It doesn't happen like, you don't get searched like every day or every other day or anything like that. They'll, if they've got reasonable suspicion, they'll come down on you. If there's a grass on the wing, right, and they drop it to the screws, right, you're going to get fucking spun, right? It's as simple as that. There's two different types of people that can spin you. You've got the screws and you've got security. For those that don't know, you don't really see security. Security are like a secret little fucking bunch, right? They watch the cameras and stuff, and they act off intelligence, right? If you're talking on your fucking, right, the switched on, right? If you're talking about on the phone, yeah, say you're on, not on a mobile, you're on a prison phone, yeah, you're on your pin, right, and you're talking in code, yeah, about bringing drugs in and this and that, right? They know the code, yeah, the screws, yeah, the security, they listen in and they pick up on these code words, yeah, right? That's one way that they can get onto you. Secondly, is if they suspect you of copying for a visit, on a visit, if you've copped a parcel on your visit, yeah, if you've been caught with it or if you haven't, right? Obviously, that's another way that they get onto you, right? Apart from that, it's like proactive screws, yeah. Like I say, for the most part, most of the screws do not care what you get up to on the wing, right? As long as they don't have to fucking do any paperwork, they're happy. Then you've got other screws, yeah, that are proactive, yeah. Proactive means they're actively looking for drugs. And like I say, if they walk past a cell and they smell it, bam, they'll go in and they'll spin the pad. Spinning the pad, they turn everything upside down. Your bed sheets, your bedding, your mattress is like, it's not like a sponge mattress. Some of them are sponge, some of them are just like a blue plasticky thing, yeah. And what they do as well, they'll get that security scanner you see at the start, the super scanner, and they'll wand it down, right, to make sure there's no mobile phones secreted within your bedding and stuff. They'll go through your clothes, they'll turn your clothes inside out, they'll check your pockets, they'll check your socks, your boxers. They literally turn your pad upside down. And like I say, anyone that's been in prison, you'll know there's not many fucking hiding places within your cell and stuff like that. Also, they're not just looking for drugs and mobile phones, they're also looking for weapons, right? Shanks, right? Shanks can be anything from fucking, like some people sharpen what they call nail clippers, sharpen the end of them, the silver thing. Some people just use a pen. Like if you get a pen in your hand and bam, smack it in someone's eye, you can blind them. But like they're looking for more like more worse weapons than that. You're looking for like a lot of lads in prison use like prison fucking razors. So what they'll do, you pry the razor out, then what you do, you can melt that into the end of a toothbrush, and that then becomes a weapon. So if you cut someone, it will just slit you from ear to ear, and you'll open you up, right? And it happens. So like I say, there's many different reasons why you would be searching stuff like that. Um, like I say, if you're selling bits and pieces in prison and you're doing a bit of this and a bit of that, do it discreetly. Don't make it fucking obvious, right? For the wing to make clear, right? If you the ones that are clever, right? The lads that are clever within prison, they'll do it what they're doing on the quiet, right? You don't see fucking loads of different like if you're selling drugs to druggies, yeah, and there's pure druggies coming into your pad, yeah. Screws are thinking, yeah, why is he always druggies in his pad? It's like canteen as well, you know. When you've ordered your canteen, yeah, because you don't deal with money in prison, right? There's two ways people can send money into you for drugs, right? Either they order your stuff on the canteen, right, and then give it to you, right? Or the people's friends and family can send money into the drug dealer, things like that. So if you've got loads of lads coming to you with different items from the canteen and stuff, that's a sure way that they're going to get onto you. Prison searches, yeah, I've seen lads spawn. The main thing is like if a screw takes a disliking to someone and the lad's got an attitude with a screw, right? They can target the lad, right? For a whole host of reasons. I seen one lad get spun, right? He was on basic, yeah, and he got spun 3 times, right, in 2 days, yeah, and he found 3 tellies in his cell. Straight up, one under his mattress, one under his fucking bed, and one under his clothes, right? They found 3 TVs in 2 days, right? So spinning his pad, yeah, just for fun. Like I say, the screws can do it, or security can do it. If security spin you and you get found to have weapons and mobile phones and drugs and everything, you get what you call a nicking. If you're working within the prison, you get sacked, you get put behind your door. You'll end up on basic, and then what will happen is like, well, you might not end up on basic. It waits to depend what your punishment is. You can get extra time added to your sentence. Like if you've got mobile phones in prison or like drugs, right? They class it as what's the word? Like giving like HMP, supplying HMP, right? You can get 2 years, you can get up to 7 years. I think new psychoactive substances, so things like spice and stuff, you can get like 7 years. Do you get them sorts of times and stuff? No, you don't. No. The prison deal with it internally, right? They can send it to an outside adjudicator, which means you go to like an outside court and stuff, and then you can get like criminal proceedings against you. They can call the police, and then the police can come in and question you, and then you can get charged and stuff. Like I say, supplying HMP and stuff. I've seen lads that have been caught with drugs, and the lad that a friend of mine actually, he got sacked and he just got sent down to the main, and he was put on basic for I think he got cell CC, which is cell confinement. I think he got like 2 weeks CC. He was on basic and he lost his job. That was his punishment for getting caught with a bit of weed, right? Like I say, I think there's something in the paper or something in the media, right, that 20,000 mobile phones have been found in the last 12 months or something within prisons, right? That's just the mobile phones that have been found, people, right? Imagine all the mobile phones that are out there that have not been found, all the weapons that have not been found, all the drugs that have not been found, right? So 20,000 is probably more like 80,000, 60,000, 100,000, because the simple fact is all the phones within prisons, they're the ones they found, right? So like I say, they do carry out cell searches and stuff. What you need to be aware of as well, for those that don't know, that have never been to prison, if you gain a job, right, in the workshops, for example, right, and you walk off your wing, right, you're thinking, right, they do search you. This is something people need to be aware of. When you leave your wing, right, to go out every morning to go to work, right, you've got to leave the wing. At the bottom, right, near the door, before you go through, they have like it's like a pole, and it's like it goes from green to red, the lights, yeah, of how much metal you've got on you, right? So if you've got a belt, yeah, you can probably get around it, but it looks for like things like copper, things that are used within mobile phones, yeah, man. So that's a very real thing, so be aware of that. So when you're going out to work and stuff down in the workshop might be in the middle bit of the prison, right? You're walking off your wing, yeah, you're going to be physically patted down, right? They pat you down, yeah, right? Some people are more strict than others, right? And like I say, you've got to walk past this tower, this little tower. All it is it's like a tall metal detector. It's silver, and it lights up from green to red. And I think it's there to do the main fucking metals it picks up on is copper and things like that, because copper are component parts within fucking phones and stuff. Obviously, it picks up on metal as well. So that's one thing you've got to be aware of as well. Because there's so many different ways they can get onto you, like I say. Because the thing is, yeah, people, you might think, well, why am I taking, like, if you're taking a weapon, say you've paranoid, yeah, and you've had an issue with someone, yeah, and they work in the workshops, right? You're going to say you're taking a shank with you, right? You've got to get that shank off that wing every day to get to the workshops, right? Just in case it comes on top and you've got to stab someone, or someone's going to come at you, or you're just a paranoid schizophrenic, right? And trust me, there's a lot of people in prison with mental health problems, right? You've got to have your weapon about you. So you've got to get your weapon in and out every day, right? Past this metal detector, past these searches and stuff. So people, like I say, people are inventful. They use different ways, different techniques of making weapons that are not metal in construction and things like that. But like I say, if you're caught with anything, if your pad's spun and you get caught with something, you just got to deal with the hand that God give you. If you get a nicking for it, you get a nicking. You can get extra days added to your sentence. You can get CC. They can get right restriction of privileges, all that sort of stuff. Right, basic off. Like basic means that you don't get TV. You're only allowed out 1 hour a day. They could put you on closed visits as well if you're caught with drugs and stuff like that. One security have got your card marked, right? They're on you all the time. It's as simple as that. But like I say, the amounts of weapons within prisons and stuff. What people do, right? When you go into the showers, right? There's 2 pipes under the wooden, on the wooden bench where you put your towel and stuff. There's 2 metal pipes under there. People put fucking weapons on there and this and that. You know what I mean? It goes on. Like I say, if you can not have it in your cell, if you've got weapons or mobile phones and stuff, don't have them in your cell, because obviously if you do get spun and you get caught with them, you're going to get extra days. But to be honest with you, even if you get caught with them, it's not the end of the world. They get taken off you, you can get another one. It's as simple as that. But there's no deterrent really. Like I say, your punishment for getting caught is not really that much. You can get up to a certain like a couple of extra months, years added to your sentence, but that's like big severe cases and stuff. And like I say, they can't really be bothered with it. So listen, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully this has answered a few questions for you. Anything else on the back of it, just let me know. Like, subscribe, comment, share. Any comments, leave below. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.